Hi there, my name is Josh. I am 19, and in a little over a week, I am going to be moving to Germany. Alright, so I got a blanket because I'm kind of cold. So, for those of you who don't know, my name is Josh. I'm a student at Dartmouth College. I am 19, just finished my freshman year, and I really wanted to make this video because I feel like it was something that I really needed to talk through. And honestly, if you can learn from my experience and learn how I feel, maybe for all of those of you who are moving off to college or moving out of your family's home or whatever for the coming new year after graduating high school or something, maybe you can feel some of these feelings too a little bit early, desensitize yourself, prepare yourself a little bit. So, as the title suggests, yes, I did move away from home at the age of 18. But here's the thing, people will probably say, oh, you just went off to college, far, far away from where you live. So I'm from Las Vegas. I go to college in Hanover, New Hampshire, and that's a little bit over, I don't know, like a 5, 6 hour flight away from here. I think the title may suggest I don't know, moved away and got my own place or whatever, which to a certain extent is also true. But I count college as moving away from home, and this is why. So I consider moving away from college to mean that I don't live here in Las Vegas or with my family anymore, considering the fact that I do have my own place to live in once I go to college. I'm spending my time in entirely different spaces than I did back home, and this causes a lot of anxiety, and frankly, this is something I'm going to have to deal with when I study abroad this summer. So, in a few videos ago, I mentioned that I'm studying abroad in Berlin for a whole term. Yeah, 10 weeks, in a different country where I do not speak the language very well, so it's going to be a really interesting experience for me. Nonetheless, I do feel like I need to get some of these feelings out because of the anxieties that come along with moving to a different country for however long it may be. So I moved away for college. I went to the East Coast, moved into a dorm, and it was, to be honest, pretty freaking hard, especially since I was going so far away. I didn't have my family with me, they didn't help me move in or anything because plane tickets are expensive, and I had a lot of stuff which didn't add on to it. So my first tip would probably be when you move away, as unless you're moving across the city or something, I recommend packing light and buying a lot more stuff wherever you go. So I consider being moved out from home the moment when I come back home and it doesn't feel like home. Does that make sense? I remember after my first term at college, I came back home and slept in my bed for the first time in over 3 months, and just remember thinking to myself the morning that I woke up that I felt uncomfortable here, like I didn't belong. And to be honest, that feeling still kind of has stayed. And in the next 2 years, I am not going to be taking any summers off. I'm taking basically 8 terms straight. We're on the quarter system, so we have to take 12 terms total. I'm taking 8 terms straight, so that by the end of my sophomore summer, I will be 2/3 done with my degree. And on top of it, in junior year, I'll probably be doing internships that aren't in Las Vegas, and I'll just be spending more and more time away from here. And it was something that I had to come to terms with very early on, and I don't think I was ready for it, to be honest. I didn't realize that I wouldn't be living here anymore. I had to change my lifestyle quite a bit. I was walking a lot more around campus, and I didn't have access to a car all the time. I think the way that I've been able to deal with that is really just to remind myself that lots of people around the world are also going through the same thing, and it kind of mitigated the anxieties that came around that to a certain extent, but it was also very helpful for me to have a roommate because I had someone to come to a certain extent for emotional problems that wasn't my mom. I was also really bad about calling my parents, so call your parents if you move out and want to maintain that contact, of course. Because I realized that as much of an independent person I always made myself out to be, I really wish that I called my parents more. I would call once a week or something, and that was something I really regretted because it made me feel like I wasn't part of my family anymore. And that was really tough on me too, to think that sometimes it's not necessarily my actions that affect other people and affect how my family lives, but also the absence of actions itself. But now, in moving to Europe for the next 2.5 months, while I may be terrified, I am also trying to keep in mind the fact that this is such a cool new experience that the independence and freedom of self-discovery in being so far away from home and also being immersed into a new culture that I hadn't had much exposure to in the past is going to be an innately unique opportunity. So for me, I think like one thing that's really keeping me just calm about the situation, I believe, is kind of the upside on things. Like, yes, I'm going to be far from home. Yes, I won't have contact with my parents as much because of international phone lines and all of that jazz. But I have so much about the world and about myself to discover, and I'm excited. So, uh, when it comes to moving out for college, I guess focus on the positives, focus on what you can do and not what you can't. And that's something I need to remind myself about today. So, thanks for watching. Peace, and I'll see you in my next video.